Hello, it's a Duty Paid here today, and I'll get straight on with telling you about this. Now, this is a little milk frother. The idea is you have a motor in here, it's straight driven onto the shaft, and you can put it in a glass of milk, froth it up, so you can add that to coffee. Now, I bought this to froth up chocolate milk powder to make a nice cold chocolate milkshake. But a few things that were a problem with it. Firstly, it ran on AA batteries, now 2 of them. Now these come down in price quite a lot over the years, but you still have to buy batteries, and I found this actually sort of burnt through them quite fast. If you had a sort of battery powered toy, especially with motoring, you don't get that much sort of play with it, and using this, you weren't using it for long, maybe 30 seconds tops, but sort of a few times a week, and it's getting through them. Secondly, the motor in here, now I think the whole thing cost around about £5, which is pretty cheap, and you can buy them cheaper as well. The motor just went grindy and stopped working, so I was just about to chuck it in the bin, and I thought to myself, well, we can always improve on it, can't we? So the gutted remains of this Braun silk Elep, which is my wife's old epilator. It's a battery powered one, and if you don't know these, they have a sort of revolving tweezers on top, and you use them to remove body hair. Now this one was battery powered, lithium ion battery. You plugged it in, charged it up, and when it was ready to go, you turned this little wheel here, and it span around and so forth. But it was accidentally turned on in a suitcase coming back from a trip, and it never took a charge after that. I think the lithium got a bit too drained, and you could charge it and charge it for days, and then it wouldn't work. So I pulled out the guts on that, and there was a rather nice motor in there. Now if you take apart this for a second, highlight of the day is undoing the screw. Now, it used to have a slidey switch here, which just used to make metal contacts on the 2AA batteries and straight into the motor drive. Now, no circuitry in this because it's a very simple circuit. But basically what I did was took out the motor from the epilator, and then I had to modify the case by chopping the retaining supports down. Luckily it had a nice long shaft on it, and the whisk attachment was literally only a push fit onto there, and I sort of had to straighten out the shaft stripe slightly. Stuck in a load of hot glue in the contacts as well. I don't think I even bothered soldering this. I think I might have soldered, I can't remember. I did this a little while ago, but I thought I'd sort of show you as interest. And basically mounted the motor and worked out the cord to the power supply. Now this is a 4.9 output at 700 milliamps, 100 to 240 voltage, and it's an old Sony Ericsson one. Had this lying around. Always feel never really want to chuck these away, but they were in the day before the micro USB input. It had its own square 2-pin attachment. So basically, excuse me, very simple inside, just literally wires going to the motor, and just had to figure out which way to spin it. I think this is clockwise, I'm not too sure, but this was the battery compartment here, and the 2 batteries went there. As I say, I cut away, hot glued it in, and sort of stuck it back together, and cut out a notch in the top for the power lead to come out. I could have put a switch on it, but that's not really required. If I just slip the screws back in here, mainly just to stop it flying apart in my hand. Now this is a good screwdriver attachment. Nothing like individual screwdrivers if you're doing an individual job, but sometimes if you're out in the field, so to speak, and you need a screwdriver. My wife got this for me for Christmas one time. It's a multi-headed one, and in the end there's a little storage compartment of all these hex bits, and there's practically everything you need in here, from star drives. Well, not hollow star drives, just star drives. The hollow ones I think would actually be security bits, but they also work as Allen keys, and varying sizes of Phillips with different profiles, and flathead. And it's very handy actually just to have around. But back to the milk frother. So literally this is mains operated, and in the UK mains plugs 99.9% have switches on, unlike the Americans, sort of just push in and power kind of thing. So literally I turn this on, and that is considerable speed and obviously power than over AA batteries. Now it's literally 4.9 volts, which is a little bit overpowered. You could say it's around about 1.9 volts overpowered, and the milliamp pull or motors don't particularly use that much power. Well, DC motors can get a bit crazy when you get big motors, but a little toy motor like that, I haven't actually measured the sort of wattage and amperage used, but I think it's well within spec. I will actually demonstrate this now. I'll do a little jump cut, and we get a little glass and a little bit of milk, and see how that goes. Okay, one moment. And if by magic milk has appeared in this little glass, I thought, God, the comment section will criticise me non-stop. Now I haven't actually tried this just in milk. Normally I use I have in milk. Normally I use a bigger glass, add loads of chocolate milk powder and so forth. So it might be a bit disappointing, but so basically let me just, whoop, so you can actually see what's going on. That might help. Change my hand, and away we go. Well, as you can see, that was about half a glass of milk, which is now like a full glass of milk in seconds. So that is one frothier milk. I don't think Italians actually. Oh, there we go. As you can hopefully see that. So that is actually one. That was basically half a glass, and that now is a full glass. Now I had to ask my wife and get permission to do that. So that's one full glass now, and with the old Turbotron Milker Frother 2016. Well, actually, I think I'll be at 2015. But anyway, just goes to show, with a few old scrap parts and other things that would probably end up in landfill, you can make things or modify things, and that's pretty manky. So until next time, I'm Dewey Paid. Hope you enjoyed this video. Comments and suggestions down below, or if you just want to say hi. Remember, the first to like and the first to comment will win a prize of my appreciation, which will be available to everybody. So until next time, be good unto yourself and take care. And that's one frothy milk. Goodbye.